Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will be breaking down the Week 15 NFL football games. If you're new here, welcome. We have been doing pretty well with our bets. Thursday, we finished with 1 win and 3 losses. This puts our total record at 37 and 33. We are up 7.22 units. Let's try to get back on track. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to never miss more sports bets and news. Not the best day Thursday. Crappy game overall and missed on the hook with Puka. Debo looked like he had a walk-in touchdown but dropped the pass as well. We're on to Sunday. Game 1, Cowboys at Panthers. Cowboys travel to the Panthers as 2.5-point underdogs, with the total set at 43. The Cowboys have been playing strong on the defensive side, but have been up and down in the past weeks. The Panthers, on the other hand, have looked really good. They almost beat the Chiefs and Eagles in back-to-back weeks, and even though they lost those games, they covered and were close to winning both of those games. My thought process is that with the Cowboys' loss on Monday night, their playoff hopes are pretty much done. So what is their motivation here? So, with that being said, I'll take the Panthers minus the 2.5 points. Another way I am looking at this is the Panthers' run defense. The Carolina Panthers have struggled defensively against the run, allowing the most rushing yards in the league, with an average of 170 yards per game. This is 23 yards more than the next worst team in run defense. They've been even worse in recent weeks, giving up an average of 186 yards per game over the last 8 games, and 5 of those opponents have rushed for over 197 yards. On the other hand, the Dallas Cowboys' rushing attack has improved in the past 3 games, coinciding with Dowdle nearly doubling his usual workload. During this stretch, he has rushed for 86, 112, and 131 yards, respectively. The Cowboys want to establish the run, and that is good news for this next bet. I'll be playing Rico Dowdle with over 83.5 rushing yards. Game 2, Chiefs at Browns. The Chiefs are 4-point favorites on the road against the Browns, with the total set at 43.5. The Chiefs continue to thrive on luck, good defense, and some good late-game drives, but their defense has become shaky recently. The Browns are the biggest hit-or-miss team now with Jameis. They can drop 35-plus or look really bad. The world raced to claim the winner's coach. At the last minute, it crashes according to schedule. Personally, I think this game is going to be really close. I like the Browns in this spot, but trusting Jameis to not throw a pick-6 to blow our cover his way, too hard to do. So how I am playing this is by attacking the Chiefs' defense. The Chiefs give up the most receptions per game at 6.62 and passing yards at 78 yards a game to tight ends. However, David Njoku is likely to miss this game. That means Jordan Akins would get the start. I'll take his over yards prop. Game 3, Dolphins at Texans. The Dolphins traveled to Houston as 3-point underdogs, with the total set at 46.5. Miami relies on its explosive passing attack, but its defense has been leaky. The Texans, while inconsistent, show flashes of brilliance behind a strong rushing attack. The Dolphins are great against bad teams, but once they go up in competition, they show their true colors. Technically, the Dolphins are still alive for the playoffs, but need to win out and will need some help. Not only that, Miami has shown notable differences when playing on the road. The Dolphins are 2-3 up as visitors, with a 3-3 record against the spread, and an average margin of 5.0 on the road. During this stretch, they face several weak defenses, including teams like the Jets, Patriots, Raiders, and the Rams, all of which rank 18th or worse in EPA allowed per play. In contrast, Houston ranks 5th in that advanced stat and is healthier than it has been since Week 1, thanks to the recent break. C.J. Stroud and the Texans boast one of the most potent offenses the Dolphins have encountered in some time, and we've seen Miami struggle in losses to top quarterbacks like Jordan Love and Josh Allen. Give me the Houston Texans minus the 2 points. Game 4, Jets at Jaguars. The Jets are 3.5-point favorites on the road against the Jaguars, with the total set at 40.5. I really have zero interest in watching this game, and unless you are a die-hard fan, I don't know why anyone would want to watch this game. Granted, the Techmen never played in baseball before, but it's a real-life baseball stadium. With all that being said, I have zero interest in betting on this game. However, the matchup is pulling me in. Now, a very comprehensive rundown of the game could help. Walk me through it. The Jacksonville Jaguars defense utilizes man-to-man coverage at one of the highest rates in the league. Since veteran Davante Adams joins the Jets, he's led the team in target share against man-to-man coverage. However, Wilson has a significantly higher catch rate, yards per catch, and average depth of target against man-to-man defense. The Jaguars have allowed the third highest completion rate in the league and are prone to giving up big plays in the passing game. Everywhere in YouTube at 1-7 plate. I take Garrett Wilson over 59.5 receiving yards. Another way I am looking at this is the running backs for the Jets. The Jags give up over 100 yards on average per game rushing, but also 44 yards in the receiving department as well, until Hallie McCrane shows up. Breece Hall dealt Bertice all week, and it looks like he won't be playing again this week, which gives the nod to Braylon Allen. Last week, in his first start, he got 11 rushes for 43 yards, but also added 4 catches for 38 yards. That's how I'll be playing it over his receiving yards. Game 5, Commanders at Saints. The Commanders are heavy 7.5-point favorites on the road against the Saints, with the total set at 43.5. This is a game that the Commander should win, but I can see already a very low-scoring game. For that reason, I'll take the under of 43.5 points. Game 6, Ravens at Giants. The Ravens are massive 16.5-point favorites against the Giants, with the total set at 42.5. Baltimore's dominant run game and Lamar Jackson make them one of the most explosive offenses in the league. The Giants haven't had a passing touchdown in over a month. This line is crazy, but I can see the Ravens covering, and it's too much for me to lay. I'm going to lean into the Ravens' run game here. I do see a 31 to 13-point game type, and if that holds up, we'll see a lot of Derrick Henry. Not only that, but the Giants are one of the worst teams against the run. Ranking 29th in yards per game are 115 yards a game, and 27th in average rushing yards per attempt at 4.82 yards a carry. With a chance to rest coming out of a bye week, the Baltimore Ravens star coming out rested, he should look fresh and ready to go. So I'll take Derrick Henry over 103.5 rushing yards parlayed with a anytime touchdown. Another way you can tackle this, like myself, is if you think this game is going to be one-sided and the Ravens will dominate most of the game, then you might see a lot of backups playing. For that reason, I can see Justice Hill getting a lot of attempts. So I'll be playing his alternate prop of 40-plus rushing yards. It is paying a huge plus 900, so it is a long shot. He hit this in only one game this year, and that was due to a huge run against the Chargers for 51 yards. But the Giants rank dead last in 20-plus yard runs allowed, so I can see him breaking a nice, big run. Game 7, Bengals at Titans. The Bengals are 5-point favorites on the road against the Titans, with the total set at 46.5. Cincinnati's dynamic passing game and playoff hopes are surprisingly still alive, but they need to win out and get a lot of help. T. Higgins didn't score on Monday, which ended a 3-game touchdown streak. That has pushed his odds up to plus 165 against the Titans. who, before facing the powerhouse that is Jags backup Mac Jones, allowed 7 passing touchdowns in the 3 games prior to that against solid quarterbacks. None of those arms were Joe Burrow's, though. And then the Titans are dealing with some injuries in their secondary, which means that after doubling Jamar Chase, Higgins should have some favorable matchups. Give me T. Higgins touchdown anytime. Game 8, Patriots at Cardinals. The Cardinals are 6-point favorites at home against the Patriots, with the total set at 46. The Cardinals are starting to look a lot like the Dolphins. When they play a good team, you should fade them, and when they play bad teams, bet them. I'll take the under in this game. In games for the Cardinals this year, the under has a record of 7-4, with 1 push with 2 overs coming in Week 1 and Week 2, meaning the last 10 games, the under is 7-2 with 1 push. Game 9, Colts at Broncos. Now, the Broncos are 4-point favorites at home against the Colts, with the total set at 44. Denver's solid defense and home field advantage make them tough to beat at altitude. The Broncos have also been one of the hottest teams in the past 5 to 6 weeks. This game is a stay away for me. Game 10, Bills at Lions. The Lions are 2.5-point favorites at home against the Bills, with the total set at 54.5. The best game of the week and should be a really good game. This is a really good matchup for the Lions offense. The Lions should be able to run the ball at will. And like we said last week, the Bills struggle to stop the run. Now the Bills offense is going to have a nice matchup for them as well, as the Lions rank 31st in pass yards per game to wide receivers. But after playing in a track meet game across the country, just to go home for a few days and then again hit the road is hard. The Lions are also on extra rest, and for that reason, I'll take the Lions -2.5 points. Controlling to see a lot of Lions, controlling the ball and clock and just eating time of possession. Now here are some fun props I'll be playing. The Bills rank 30th in receiving yards to running backs, giving up 44.5 yards a game. When they're playing teams that utilize their running backs to catch passes, they give up a lot of yards. That is why I'm looking at David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Now that might surprise you, as Gibbs is usually the pass catcher, but recently Mont has been catching a lot of passes. 2. Last week Mont caught 5 passes for 33 yards. He actually had more yards and targets than Gibbs last week. And the week before that, he had 36 yards, while Gibbs had just 17. For that reason, I'll be taking David Montgomery over 25 receiving yards at +145. Another way I'll be playing this is Josh Allen's over 39.5 rushing yards. What is interesting about Josh Allen is when the games are close, he runs a lot. When the games are not close, he don't run. Just look last week. Close game, he ran 10 times for 82 yards. Week before that was a blowout win against the 49ers. He ran 3 times for 18 yards. Against the Chiefs, in a close game, he ran 12 times for 54 yards. I think this game will be close, so he'll be running a lot. Lastly, I am looking at Khalil Shakir. The Bills' speedy slot receiver doesn't often get the chance to play indoors, but when he does, Shakir excels. He averages nearly 15 yards per reception in covered venues, compared to 12.98 yards per catch outdoors over his career. Shakir has become one of Josh Allen's top targets, with his volume increasing significantly since Week 7. Over the past 7 games, he's seen at least 7 targets in each contest, totaling 45 receptions for 551 yards, an average of almost 79 yards per game. Not only will he play on the clean turf inside Ford Field this Sunday, but he also faces a favorable matchup against Detroit's slot corner, Amik Robertson. Robertson has been targeted 60 times in 13 games, allowing a passer rating of 94.2 against him. I'll take him over 55.5 receiving yards. Game 11, Buccaneers at Chargers. The Chargers are 3-point favorites at home against the Buccaneers, with the total set at 45.5. It seems like everyone is on the Chargers here, but Herbert's ankle is not 100%, and I just got a feeling the Bucs come out and play really well. This game should be close, and for that reason, I'm taking the Buccaneers plus the 3 points. Game 12, Steelers at Eagles. The Eagles are 5-point favorites at home against the Steelers, with the total set at 43. Philadelphia's great run game has had a lot of headlines this week, with A.J. Brown coming out and saying the passing game needs to be better. This game just screams a Steelers win. The Steelers represent the toughest defense the Eagles have faced this season, particularly when compared to the weaker defenses Philadelphia has encountered in the second half of the schedule. Over the past 8 games, the Eagles have faced teams ranked 32nd, 31st, 30th, 29th, 27th, 24th, 2030th, and 19th in EPA allowed per play, when you're playing in the ECBA allowed for play. In contrast, Pittsburgh sits at number 5 in that advanced metric. The timing couldn't be worse for Philadelphia QB Jalen Hurts, who has been struggling both on and off the field, with locker room whispers adding to the pressure. Hurts' underwhelming performance in Week 14 almost cost the Eagles a win over Carolina, and star WR A.J. Brown didn't hold back from voicing his frustration with Hurts and the passing game. Brown may have a point, as Hurts' completion percentage over expected was ranked number 1 in the first 11 weeks, but has fallen to 11th over the last 3 games. The Steelers are going to make Hurts throw the ball, and they're going to make the Eagles' pass game beat them. The question is, can the Eagles win with Hurts throwing 30-plus times? Maybe. Now, on the Steelers' side of the ball, it looks like Pickens isn't going to be playing, which hurts the Steelers' offense tremendously, but so far no one has seen any signs of Pickens coming back. With all that being said, I'm going to be taking the under of 43. Game 13, Packers at Seahawks. The Packers are 2.5-point favorites on the road against the Seahawks, with the total set at 46. That took a little time to adjust to new head coach Mike Macdonald's defensive system, but everything seems to be clicking now. The Seahawks now rank number 2 in EPA allowed per play and number 6 in opponent success rate per snap since Week 11, excelling particularly in defending the pass. They've also been exceptional in the red zone, limiting opponents to just 5 touchdowns on 11 attempts inside the 20-yard line during this current winning streak. Green Bay has been strong, holding a 7-2 straight-up record since Week 5, with both losses coming against Detroit. However, when you take a closer look at their recent victories, there are some glaring weaknesses. I like the Seahawks here. I like them outright to win this game. I think they'll be able to limit Josh Jacobs in the run game and do enough on the offensive side of the ball to win this game. Game 14, Bears at Vikings. The Vikings are 7-point favorites at home against the Bears, with the total set at 43.5. Chicago's pass defense has crumbled in recent weeks, surrendering explosive pass plays at nearly a 50% rate and allowing 6 receivers to surpass 73 yards in their last 4 games, including giving up 162 yards to Jordan Addison just 3 weeks ago. The Minnesota Vikings wide receiver has seen his targets and yardage nearly double over the past month, and with the current state of Chicago's secondary, Addison is poised for a strong performance against the Bears' defensive backs. With so much attention on Justin Jefferson, Addison gets good looks. Kind of reminds me of the Steelers in 2018 with Antonio Brown and Juju. Juju had like 1,500 yards, and then, as soon as Brown left, it became clear that he wasn't the same player. With all that being said, I'll take Jordan Addison over 52.5 receiving yards. I also like the under overall in this game. The Vikings defense at home has regressed a little from the start of the year, but they're still a good unit and are much better at home Then, when on the road, the Dome will be loud and this game should be in the range of 23-16. Game 15, Falcons at Raiders. The Falcons are 3.5-point favorites even as they have been playing like garbage as they go on the road against the Raiders, with the total set at 44.5. This game is interesting because, on the one hand, the Raiders should be trying to tanking. However, they play hard under Antonio Pierce. And then we have owner Mark Davis coming out saying how disappointed he is. Then we got the Falcons, who really look bad. The offense has been terrible, and the defense has also been really bad. Bo Nix and Sam Darnold are the latest quarterbacks to cook against them. Now, Aiden O'Connell left last week's game with a knee injury and is questionable to play. But if he does play, I like the Raiders to win this game outright. So those are my favorite bets for the Sunday and Monday Week 15 games. And that is it for this week. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video for more betting and sports news. See you in the next one.